Welcome to the ChargePoint podcast, brought to you by Flexecharge, your gateway to the future of EV charging. In each episode, we dive deep into the world of EV infrastructure, offering insights and perspectives from industry leaders, innovators, and the people at the forefront of deploying charging solutions and networks. Join us to explore the exciting developments that are accelerating our world towards sustainable mobility.
Hi everyone, I'm Christophe from Flexecharge, and welcome back to the ChargePoint podcast. In this special episode at the EVS38, we're bringing you fresh insights straight from the show floor in Gothenburg, where we sat down with 4 industry leaders shaping the future of EV charging across Europe and beyond. First up, Barry from Synexcel Europe takes us inside one of China's biggest power electronics firms. With over 140,000 DC chargers deployed globally, Barry shares how Synexcel is tailoring its megawatt scale, modular hardware for the European market, from CE compliance to accessibility features. He also explains the company's strategic partnership with Flexecharge and how the integration with the HARMON-E platform is unlocking smarter energy management for CPOs. Then we visit the Omixom booth to chat with Martin, a business unit manager leading EV infrastructure deployment in Norway, the world's most mature EV market. From upgrading transformers to integrating battery storage and renewables, Martin walks us through the underground challenges of grid constraints and the growing demand from e-trucks and maritime electrification. He also shares how being part of the Vinci groups gives Omixom a unique edge in combining high-voltage expertise with last-mile charging delivery. Next, Tommaso Di Fonzo from NG Laborelec joins us for a conversation grounded in 14 years of EV experience. He explains how their software platform is helping the city of Rotterdam optimize the charging of 15,000 public charge points by aggregating them as a flexible, grid-responsive resource. We dive into what it takes to manage real-world public charging, why smart charging shouldn't stay stuck in pilot mode, and how standardization and open protocol are the key to scaling urban energy innovation. And finally, I'll talk with Andreas from Infi Power, who's leading the company's European energy storage strategy. He explains how their silicon carbide-based power modules and turnkey BESS plus charger platforms are helping CPOs scale fast, stay efficient, and future-proof their infrastructure. We also touch on off-grid deployments, liquid cooling innovations, and why Asia's speed-to-market mindset is exactly what Europe's grid needs right now. So whether you're upgrading depots, evaluating hardware, or designing your next smart charging rollout, plug in and power up. This episode is packed with grounded insight, practical tech, and a clear view on where charging is heading next. Let's dive in. Welcome to the first guest on this episode at EVS38 in Gothenburg with Barry from Synexcel Europe. Welcome, Barry, to the ChargePoint podcast. Thank you for taking the time. Can you please introduce Synexcel and highlight what your role is at Synexcel?
Okay. Actually, Synexcel is a pioneer leader in EV industrial, and not only in EV, and also Synexcel, we are a professor in the energy storage and the power quality and the battery testing. So you can see Synexcel, our main business is between the grid and the battery. We bring our power electronic technology and our solution to benefit this industrial. And with more than 60 countries deployment, until today, we already have more than 140,000 DC chargers deployed globally. And our power module, the power electronic module, also more than 1 million units deployed globally in our product and also our customers' product.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's impressive. That only, I guess, Chinese company can boast such a volume. So, and when was the company started? I mean, how many years does it exist? Is it an old company, new company? Can you tell us about the history of Synexcel?
Yeah. Okay. Actually, Synexcel is founded in 2007. Yeah, we starting from that day until now is already 18 years.
Yes.
Yeah, and for the EV e-mobility, we starting from 2010. So until today, also more than 15 years.
Yeah,
so
that's impressive.
We got a lot of experience in this industrial, near 2 decades.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's few companies can boast that long experience. So you are very well established to play in Asia. So what motivated your push into European EV charging markets? Why did you want to come here to Europe?
Okay, I think this is a good question. Since 2010, Science has already been at like the fourth floor in China's market, especially in the EV charging industrial. Until today, China already have more than 50 million electric cars driving on the road. And the percentage of the EV rate in this industry is now more than 50%. So we got a lot of the new business model and the application experience in China's market. But we think in Europe also this is a very huge potential opportunity market. We think we can bring this experience enter this Europe market, provide our technology and the service and the product to the customer to serve this market.
Yeah. And when did you start the first time in Europe? When did you start to come to Europe?
Actually, for our whole company, we start the business in Europe also more than 13 years. Yeah. For EV, our officially starting is in 2019. Yeah, so now it's near 6 years.
And which market was it? Do you remember in Europe specifically?
Actually, when we start is in Germany. Yeah, in Germany. Based on Germany market, we also explore our market range to UK, Nordic, and also in Spain, the south part. Now also we are developing the east part.
Absolutely, absolutely. Good point to start from Germany.
Yes.
So according to you, what are the key challenges and the opportunities you see for a Chinese hardware manufacturer entering European EV charging space? So what are the challenges and the opportunities?
Actually, for not only for us, I think for all the Chinese company have the same challenges. Is localization operation.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when a new company enter a new market, we must bring our reputation and build the trust with the customer. The customer, the first question will ask you, where are you from? What's your business? And what's your record in this market? For example, Europe. Okay, so we must invest firstly to solve the question, chicken or egg, which first? Our answer is we invest first. We build our local office, build our local sales team, technical team, and service team. And also we work with our local partner to build our local ecosystem. This is the first big challenge for us, is the localization operation. The second thing is, we are trying, not us, out of Europe company want to sell in their product in Europe must meet the CE certification. The charger must meet the IEC standards. So we test a lot. We do a lot of certification. And another small, very specific challenge is different countries have their own certification. Like Germany, they have the specific calibration. So Science, we must do this for every country to bring the specific certification. This is also one of the challenges for us.
It's painful.
Yes,
I can imagine. It's painful, yeah. But that's, it's for everybody, yeah. So, and on the positive side, so what are the opportunities that are so great in Europe? Can you elaborate a bit on this?
Yes, because actually we think about the whole market chain. This is a global business, not just a regional business. So we think about the e-mobility. Europe, they have local EV manufacturer. Also, some EV manufacturer come from China or come from another country like America. When they are selling their EV in Europe, so must bring something to Europe. For us, we already have started the business in China very early. So we have some cooperation and partnership with some Chinese brand. When they enter Europe, so it means, okay, we can together go
Absolutely, when they come. So yeah, because you are arriving before them, actually,
Yes.
So you can work with them. So BYD and Xpeng and Geely Group, absolutely, That's it's clearly opportunity, interesting, Great. So maybe, so how do you position your value proposition compared to the established European or North American charger brands, right? What's the strength of Synexcel?
Actually, we are, our value position around our company, there's like the 4 parts. Firstly is the high quality. Because we think Europe is a very high value market. Everybody using their total cost of ownership is as they are review the standards to see, not just pricing, not just some basic function, to think about the TCO, what the benefit I can earn from this business. So the quality, reliability is very important. So this first part is a high quality. And the second is because in China, we have larger scale supply chain. So we have the short delivered times. And also, we start very early in China. So the third point is we have the extensive application experience.
That's right.
Yes, and now we already invest a lot for localization operation, so we can bring the timely localized support. Yes, for the customer.
Yeah. And would you say, I mean, it's always a discussion. What about the capacity to have a very competitive pricing? Isn't it also a strength?
Actually, yes. You can see about the whole market. You can see a lot of players. They are changing their design using the China or East Asia supply chain to reduce their cost. Yes, and also some company transfer their manufacture site from Europe to China or South Asia to reduce the human cost.
Of course.
So the price competitive I think, will become more and more strict. Yes, in this market. Yeah.
So can you share maybe a few lessons that you have learned from the European market so far? Compliance, expectation, or user experience? Anything you want to share?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I can share one big point for us is according to the user experience, we learned the lesson from the market. As we talked just now, one of the big challenges is for us to know something localization. Chinese people and the European people have a different thinking or the behavior habits for the charging. In China, we are more focusing on the function of the charging. But here, the users will have higher expectation on their user-friendly. For example, they need the AV charger have the cable management, and they need very detailed and very clear UI information showing to the users, and also need the machine to support the barrier-free, the friendly for the unfriendly people, for the barrier people. Like the different heights and different lights and different color to let the people more use easily. This is we learn from the market. It's totally different thinking we learned before, because in the before this is the industrial product. We design reliable and cost effective and function is that's it. But now here it's another story.
So the bar is high because we want to make it user friendly for all kind of people. So I can see that that's a good learning.
Yes. This is we learn a lot of feedback from different customer that they are saying the same thing is, can you improve the friendly use for your product? This is the same question.
That's really interesting. There must be something for sure also about maturity and how many EV drivers there are. And we're still, we in China, there's more people who are driving EV cars in percentage than in many countries in Europe. So I guess in Europe, we're still learning, right, to use that. So we have to make it super friendly to make sure people are adopting EVs, right? That's where we are. All right, great. So let's talk a bit about product and technical capabilities. So you recently received a compatibility certification with the Flexecharge HARMON-E platform. So what does this integration mean for your customers like CPOs? What would you say?
Okay. This is also, we are very excited to got this certification from the Flexecharges. When we received the full capability certification with Flexecharge, the HARMON-E platform, actually this is significantly milestone for us. This integration ensures the seamless interoperability with the advanced energy management system, allow the CPO to optimize their energy distribution and reduce their peak load.
That's right.
Costs. So this, which means we can improve our use. This is also another user friendly for the grid. Especially for the site distribution. If we can provide more possibility to help our CPO customer managing their local grid safety and their management for example, the energy cost for their daily operation.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So are there any hardware or software innovations that you are, Synexcel, showcasing at the EVS38 that you want to highlight that are aimed at European CPOs or integrators, right? What do you want to mention?
Yes, actually, we have the same value with Flexecharge. We also, in the hardware side, also we design the function and our performance for the grid friendly. Firstly, our charger using the modular design, we can provide the dynamic power switching for different connectors output, and also we provide very high power quality performance on our charger. For example, our THDI is below 5%, and also power factor is more than 99%. So this means we can reduce the reactive power and reduce the risk of the grid safety, the grid safety risk for their daily operation. So this is the points we provide for the CPOs for the grid stability. The grid stability.
Is there any new launch at the EVS? Anything new that you're introducing this time?
Yes, we bring our two new products in our EVS38 the booth. You can see one is the high power integrated charger, 640 kilowatt with two connectors in one cabinet. And also they can combine with our user terminal to explore their charging connector up to 4 connectors. Yeah, this is one of our new product. And the second one is our distribution system megawatt level power unit, 1,280 kilowatt. And this power unit can support more than up to 16 connectors. So it means this system can support 16 car or truck charging at the same time. And we provide another flexibility on this system is we can support the multiple different user terminal, high power CCS, or suspend the CCS for overnight charging. Also provide the MCS charging for the for future short break charging.
Absolutely. When it's ready. Okay, wow, Then make sure to drop by that, absolutely, That's something people missed if they didn't make it to EVS. So maybe closing in a bit on the partnership and the ecosystem. So why, can you tell me a bit why the partnership with Flexecharge? Why was it a strategic step for you, right? Do you see value in aligning with the local energy management platform as a go-to-market strategy? Can you elaborate a bit on this?
Yes. Actually, Flexecharge is specialized in the low energy and the grid management for commercial EV charging infrastructure, offering an intelligent approach to optimize energy use across the networks. Its HARMON-E platform provides a reliable, scalable, and future-proof foundation for CPOs. Yes, enabling their easily to connect and control their charging network. So by build a partnership with Flexecharge, we combine our expertise in advanced EV charging solution with their robust energy management capability to provide a comprehensive offering to the customer. Together, I think we can we can work together, driving the innovation and improving the high efficiency for the customer's operation for the future.
Well, makes sense. It's a good match. Wrapping up and looking a bit ahead. So what is Synexcel's vision for the European market in the next 3 to 5 years, right? Are you going to make more partnerships, or what do you see how do you see the company developing in the next 3 to 5 years?
Actually, for the next 3 to 5 years, our main mission will continuously invest more on localization. We will build more and more our local capability to work with more and more local strong partner like the Flexecharge. For example, Flexecharge is just one of the our energy management software partner, and also we will looking to find another capability like the installation, service, and the warehouse, and we will build our local ecosystem wider. And explore our service network, our capability network to service our local different countries' customer, or to service our customer, explore their business in different countries. Yeah, this is our main mission, to invest more and explore more our localization operation capability.
All right. Barry, on that word, thank you for taking the time for the ChargePoint podcast and looking forward to our collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you.
And moving on to the next conversation here at EVS38 on the booth of Omexom. Thank you for having us here, Martin.
Nice to meet you and cool that you stopped by.
Yeah, absolutely. Omexom is a name that I wanted to have on the podcast for a long time. So thank you for taking the time. Can you please start by briefly giving me a bit of your background that led you to the position where you are today?
For sure. My position in Omexom is a business unit manager. I started as a project manager. Then after a year, I become team leader. And then I take this electrical exam in Norway that you can be responsible for the installation. And this year, I become business unit manager for our business unit.
Yeah. All right. Is the business growing fast?
Yes, very fast. The market, you can see here, it's growing really fast. I remember in the beginning, we started installing 50 kilowatt charger. And now we are installing 400 kilowatt charger on a weekly basis. Yeah. So it's crazy.
Yes, that's the baseline. Yeah, the 400 is the new 50. Yeah, exactly. That's what I usually say. Yeah. And so, yeah, give us a bit of background on Omexom, so the business, because it's a large business. So tell us about it.
Yeah, Omexom is part of Vinci Group, really big. And in Norway, where my business unit is, it's 1,100 people. And we're working a lot with high voltage power. That's maybe the core business, but also charging infrastructure, lighting, and so on.
Yeah. And when did it become part of the Omexom Group, the business in Norway? What is it acquired?
Yes, in 2019. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So they spotted the business and acquired it to expand the brand. Yeah, great. So at EVS, we've seen a lot of interest, of course, in charging of, including MCS, right? So what have you maybe found the most exciting so far, here on your booth about Norway's EV charging revolution?
It's really fun. It's a lot of different clients here. We talk to the manufacturer of vehicles, we talk to the CPOs, and it's fun to be the only installer or the entrepreneur here. Mm-hmm. So we get a bit of attention because of that. So that's really exciting. Yeah. And we're here with all of the countries in the Omexom Group that's participating in the charging infrastructure. So it's really fun to share the knowledge between the business units.
Yeah. And tell me a bit, so let's talk about EV charging in your portfolio. So as you said, you do everything from high voltage, grid works to renewables. So how does EV charging, slot into the portfolio in Norway, and what makes it a strategic growth area for you?
Vinci Energies, our owners, are all about the green way and sustainable future, and working with charging infrastructure in Norway when we have the water and everything. It's perfect.
All right. And can you maybe walk us through on the booth? What are you showcasing? What are the key topics you're discussing on your booth?
It's what we can deliver for sure. The depot charging has really strict demands for SLA. And that's something we work a lot with in Omexom now to cover the response time all over Norway, other countries, tell them about spare parts you need to have, know the hardware so you have accessibility to the spare parts you need. Mm-hmm. That's a really big topic. And for sure, choose the right hardware and the right CPO. All
right. Okay. Key topics. So let's talk about Norway's unique market. So on the showroom floor, Norway's 80% EV market share, right, keeps coming up, right? Everybody knows it's the poster child in electrification. So what unique challenges or maybe advantages does that bring when you design and build charging networks that you have such a penetration?
It's really cool to work in the most mature EV market in the world, as Norway is. All of the fitters we have are driving EVs, and we are charging on the charger we are installing. So that's really great. Okay, it's for sure a lot of challenges. It's a lot of new technologies, new solutions all the time. The challenges is for sure a greater demand in the grid. The capacity that's needed, it's it's big, and it's good for us to be on the high voltage part to deliver the scope of work to upgrade the grid there. And we can also deliver the charging infrastructure on the other side. And we can combine the BESS system, solar if needed. And it's a... Yeah.
It's what?
Yeah.
It's okay. But we can finish with this. So tell me more about, have you been revisiting then some CPO sites where you've been upgrading for them the grid because of the demand that's been increasing the last few years?
We have installed some batteries to give a better capacity to the chargers. Often you can change it's the distribution grid. That's the problem here. The transformer is too small, and we can change it, and then it's okay. So the power lines into the cities is good, but it's the distribution grid that needs to be upgraded.
And that transformer, when you upgrade that transformer, how big a project is it? How long time does it take? And how costly is it? Like, what are we talking about here?
You have the cost of the transformer, and the equipment is the biggest cost. It's heavy equipment. You need to hoist. You need manpower.
Yes.
Safety is really important here. So it's a cost, but it's for sure the hardware that's the biggest cost here.
But I heard that the transformers there's a longer waiting time sometimes for transformers, right?
For sure.
Is that true? Can you share a bit of your thoughts on this?
The smaller transformers is maybe 5 to 6 months, but the big transformers for power stations, you're talking year here.
That's amazing to think that you have to wait years for a product that you want to have, right? I think I'll need to share the link in the notes to this podcast I was listening to where they were talking about it. It's fascinating. Great. So here at the booth, you've highlighted the smart solution, right? So how are you combining load management with storage to ease the local grid access? Can you explain a bit more about how you're deploying the BESS? What kind of BESS are you deploying, and how do you combine that with load management? Tell us a bit how you see that.
Yeah. When the transformers doesn't have the capacity, you need power. Then we can for sure install batteries. We have installed batteries from Pixie and from Huawei.
Which capacity are we talking about, batteries?
We have installed 500 and 600 kilowatts of extra boosting. Usually we have maybe 860 kilowatts, and they need more. It's a popular location maybe. And then we can install I think.
Yeah, there's no.
No, but we have installed maybe 5 or 6 more locations with batteries, and they have maybe 860 and need 500 more.
All right.
So that's
all right. Yeah.
It's smaller.
Okay.
But,
okay. And how do you make sure that the batteries? Is it the CPO who's taking care of the communication between the batteries and the chargers, or do you help with that?
We can help, but often they have technicians that does the commissioning, and we be there to watch them with the safety aspect with power.
Yeah.
And they have skilled technicians that do the commissioning themselves.
Yeah. Okay. But beyond that, after the commissioning, when it's about optimizing on a daily basis, who's doing that? Are you helping with this, or is it up to the CPO?
That's CPO, and they often have an agreement with the end customer.
Yes. Oh, it makes sense. Yeah. Let's talk about the synergies with the renewables. So Norway's almost 100% hydropower system is clearly a different shade also. So how do you integrate local renewables and storage into your charging sites designed to boost sustainability also, so that it's green power that you're using? I mean, or is it just by default in Norway that the energy is green, so you don't have to do anything particular?
It's for sure green.
Yeah.
So if you use the grid, it's green power.
Yeah.
And if the customer can benefit from it with the FSC cost for the grid taxes,
yes,
it could be a really good idea for the customer to have some batteries to take the tops.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, makes sense. Absolutely, yeah. So here at EVS, we've heard lots about integrations. Which backend or CPMS or EMSP platforms are you partnering with in Norway? And what makes an ideal partner for Omexom?
Yeah, we are an independent installer. So we are installing all of the hardware the customer wants for sure. But what's really important for Omexom is that the hardware is directly OCPP. So we can talk to anyone, because then the customer can use the CPO they want whenever they want and change it out without bigger problems. So that's a really important advice we are giving our customer. And for sure, we have our partners that we chose when we are delivering the total scope, like maybe current or charge life, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of course you can recommend those. Yeah, of course. Makes sense, yeah. So European interoperability and national grid access rules are evolving quite fast. So how are you navigating Norway's specific regulatory landscape around the tariff, stands out and permitting? You know?
Yeah, we stay up to date on the national rules and tariff developments. Tailor installation or solution are adapted to local grid requirements and customer needs. Standard first, we prioritize open protocols like OCPP for flexibility and future proofing.
Makes sense.
Smooth permitting.
Yeah.
We have experience with local permitting process and support customer throughout the whole process.
All right. Clear. So walking the halls, we see booth visitors from fleet operators to municipalities. So which CPO or site host segments in Norway are you most focused on winning this year and why?
For sure, the heavy truck scope. Depot charging. We have a lot of big customer there. We are serving Posten and Bring in Norway. It's a lot of exciting tenders out now. I can't tell so much about it.
Fair enough.
But
Yeah, so there's a lot of tenders out now.
yes.
Yeah, that's a good
And for sure, we are looking for the maritime sector, ferries, fast ferries.
Yes, of course.
And just make sure they have power on the harbor. And that's really exciting.
Is that big consumption, big capacity on the
Really big consumption in a short period of time.
Yeah.
So
So how do you bring high voltage all the way to the harbor, or how do you do that?
that's what's great with Omexom. We have the high voltage team, and we have our team that's doing the charging infrastructure, working together. And for sure, planning with the grid owner, because this is often spaces, location that it's not available. And maybe here we can use the BESS and batteries to provide some good solutions.
Yeah, I mean, this collaboration within the two teams, that must be also an advantage for winning e-trucks depot projects, because it's also a lot of,
for sure.
We're going to the megawatts and going beyond. So what type of sites are we talking about? What's the grid connection that they have? Are we talking, I don't know, 5, 10 megawatts, 15?
Yeah, we are installing actually a 5 megawatt charging project in Bergen, using containers with the power distribution board and cooling system from water for fast ferries. And if we are starting to deliver this to the bigger boats, even more.
Yeah, so 5 is just the beginning. So it will not be surprising to see next year sites with 10 megawatts, 15 and so on, right?
For sure.
And when are you reaching the high voltage? When is it that you're becoming high voltage? What's the threshold?
In Norway, it's over 1500 volts.
All right, so that's it. Right. All right, rounding up. So finally, now that you've spent time at EVS here, so what key trends, innovation, or insights have you spotted that will shape, maybe your work and roadmap? What have you been inspired by for the future of Omexom in Norway?
From the EVS?
Yes.
No, it's a growing market. It's fun to work in the EV industry.
Is it the e-trucks you can see that are really pushing? You see that's not going to be big for Omexom Norway?
Yeah, in Norway, we have installed so many EV chargers for cars. So the next step is heavy duty trucks. Yeah. And we are there now. Yeah. But it's more to do. So that's our short period of scope. But what's next? Maybe megawatt charging. But the batteries and the cars need to evolve a bit more before we are there, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. So last bonus question. So did you have to learn French to work at Omexom?
No, I haven't. I've been to the headquarters once, but I'm happy they can speak English.
Yeah, that's great. All right. All right. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great day, right?
Thank you.
Before we continue with the show, I've got to tell you about a masterclass you cannot miss. Our CTO, Robert, dives into local load management and explains how the Gateway local controller delivers rock-solid reliability, keeping the smarts on site for lightning-fast response, effortless peak shaving, and seamless solar and battery integration. It's available on demand. Sign up now at flexecharge.com or grab the link in the show notes. And now, back to the show. Moving on to the third conversation here for the ChargePoint podcast at EVS38, together with Andreas from Infi Power. Welcome, Andreas.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Can you please introduce yourself, a bit of your background, and that led you to the position where you are today at InfiPower?
Listen, I'm working in the battery industry for the last 15 years right now, having worked for global battery cell suppliers, for battery pack manufacturers, and for battery analytic companies from Japan, from France, and from Germany, and company from a battery pack manufacturer from the Scandinavian market as well. And this basically led me to the work I'm doing today, heading the European BESS or energy storage business for InfiPower in Europe here. Fantastic. And it's a very exciting time to be in because everybody is going electric, and there's a lot of happening, especially here in the Scandinavian, where we are holding this interview in here, and therefore it's really great to be in this business, as I personally
absolutely
think.
Yeah. Can I ask? I'm curious. When was the last time you were in China?
Last time in China was like many years ago, so like 5 years ago, and I only have been there once, to be honest. So yeah.
Interesting.
But it's a very good question because everything China is very well developed, and as my personal opinion is that China is leading the whole electric mobility and EV space and battery storage space today. Yeah. So changed in the last years, but now they're no more
following. They're not following.
No more following. They're basically leading. So basically, the market, the biggest market today, the biggest EV market, the biggest storage market is in China today, and therefore, it's really interesting to see to read what is happening over there. But yeah. The last time I personally been there is like 5 years ago.
5 years ago, but that's a long time. Yeah. Yes. Any plans to go there?
Yes, I will go there in 3 weeks from now.
I'd love to go with you.
To Shenzhen, which is, as you know, is one of the hotspots of EV and battery and IT technology in China and in the world.
Yes.
And
it's the Chinese Silicon Valley for
that is absolutely
EV
correct.
community.
Yes.
I'm planning to go there at some point for sure. And not in 5 years. So how does InfiPower? Let's dive into the company. So how does InfiPower support leading CPOs, and what makes your hardware particularly suited to their needs?
Before I go to this question, let me shortly tell you a little bit more about InfiPower. So InfiPower is standing for Innovation for Your Power. It was founded in Shenzhen some time ago, 15 years ago, and it's a global power electronics leader, basically very much active in high-performance power modules, DC-DC, AC-DC, bidirectional, unidirectional, liquid-cooled, and air-cooled modules. Those modules you need in fast charging stations, and so they're already built in many fast charging stations. They are based on the SiC, silicon carbon based chips from Infineon, which is a very good sophisticated technology. And we work today, let's say, behind the scenes. So you won't see so much the brand of InfiPower because we're delivering a lot of our under the hood, as you say, correct. And that's basically what we do as InfiPower based in Shenzhen. And we recently, like 4 years ago, we opened up a European headquarter in Munich. That's what InfiPower is doing today. Coming to your question, what you just said, CPOs, like there are many here in Europe, basically need speed to scale, and reliability is a very big topic for them as well, I would say, and therefore that's where we come in having Chinese typical speed, I would name it. A lot of discussions in Europe as well in here that we need to have more Chinese speed, and which we have a lot of speedy people in there and fast responding solutions to requests from the market, and we have a very scalable architecture when it comes to those power modules and our solutions to CPOs, as well as those dispensers or chargers and battery storage solutions. That's basically what we can support for CPOs. Next to this, we are not just delivering modules or chargers. We're more and more enabling smarter site designs, smooth operations, and better driver experiences. And we have realized, together with partners here in Europe, in the suburbs of Munich, some of the biggest charging hubs with many different dispensers. In Zuffenhausen, for example, which is between Augsburg and Munich, with a partner of us, where a lot of products from InfiPower in there.
How big is the site? Do you remember the details? I'm just curious.
I think about 80 or 50 charging stations in there, something like this. But I have to double check, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that gives a bit of a ballpark. It's fine. It's everything is XL for me when I talk about China. When I see also the projects that are being deployed over there, being the Shell station or excavation machines charging. It's So tell me, Andreas, what do you think are some of the biggest challenges for Chinese companies to enter the European space?
Before I answer this question, let me first emphasize that my personal opinion is that I think that Chinese companies, or many of those Chinese companies out there, are leading the space today in the electromobility or in the electrification market on a worldwide level. Let it be in EV charging, let it be in batteries technology, let it be in power electronics. So they are really very well developed and already implemented in many products today here in Europe as well. And many well-known European brands are sourcing their components and solutions from China already those days. The biggest challenge I personally see is, first of all, the brand awareness and making known what the company is doing, what the history is the company from, and that's the first point. And then another point is in this, it's about certifications or grid codes, but that's not typically Asian or Chinese issue. Anybody has this here in Europe. The reason why we are very fragmented here in Europe. Every country has different grid codes and certifications and so on. So we are very much focusing on making sure as well that our solutions are well suited for the different geographies here on the planet, which is much easier in Asia because you have less grid operators, for example. That's another challenge. Next to this, I think it's very much about partnering as well in the industry and cooperate with EMS providers, with CPOs and with utilities and so forth. Making known what basically innovation or Infi Power is doing, and then cooperating with those guys.
Absolutely.
That's a challenge, but I think you can solvable challenge. Let's put it this way.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah,
I hear you absolutely. All right, let's talk a bit about the technical innovation. Your product range includes the power modules and fast charging solutions. So, what innovations are you showcasing at EVS?
Basically, we're showcasing our next generation 40 kilowatt and 60 kilowatt modular power units, which are even more compact and thermally efficient than ever before. We're also unveiling updates to our integrated BESS and charging platform, which is basically a turnkey solution that pairs high power charging with on-site energy storage.
Makes sense.
And which is ideal for grid-constrained locations, fleet hubs, looking to optimize the energy usage, where we have off-grid solutions as well and MPPT solutions as well.
Which stands for? Can you break down the acronym?
MPPT is basically where you can use the power from the solar panels as well, which you can feed directly via DC into the battery storage. And off-grid, where you can use the energy storage device as well, where there's no grid, no grid connection.
It can be relevant in places for sure.
Absolutely, we're having projects as well here in Europe where our battery solutions and charging solutions are used in off-grid scenarios next to mobile solar module installations in agricultural areas, for example, where to charge agricultural machines, which is slowly becoming interesting as well. So
interesting.
Such kind of
interesting space also, yeah, absolutely. Great. With the increasing demand for ultra-fast chargers, how is Infi Power addressing the challenges of thermal management, energy density, and modularity? That's technical.
Listen, we invested heavily in liquid cooling technology, which is to improve thermal performance in compact spaces. Our modular design means power capacity can be scaled up or down easily, reducing initial capex while you still have future-proof sites. On the energy density front, our power stacks are among the most space-efficient in their cases, helping CPOs maximize throughput even on tight footprints. And we think that liquid cooling technology is the way to go, especially in areas like in the Middle East, for example, where you have a lot of hot temperatures, or in Asia, in Malaysia, or in Southern Europe, hot environments where it's better to have liquid cooled technology instead of air cooled technology. And for energy density questions, we're using basically battery cells from the leading cell suppliers, Cuttle and Eve, which are at the forefront of developing LFP cells and making out of this nice battery modules, liquid cooled battery modules.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you. So can you share how your solutions help CPO reduce total cost of ownership or improve uptime and reliability? We went a bit into it, but let's hear it a bit more detailed.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. Listen, our modular architecture minimize downtime. If one module needs service, the rest can stay online. So you can take one out and the rest is still up and running, which is very good in terms of reliability. And we also designed for easy field maintenance and remote diagnostics. And in terms of costs, our energy efficient designs reduce electricity losses and cooling costs. And our best solutions cut peak demand charges, and it's all about delivering long-term performance and predictable OPEX at the end of the day.
Yeah, of course. Couldn't agree more. So as CPOs face grid constraints and high demand charges, do you offer or integrate with a load management solution? How do you see load management playing a role?
Very interesting question. Yes, we do very much so. And our system can integrate seamlessly with site-level EMS platforms and dynamic load balancing software. But we also offer our own BESS integrated load management, which allows sites to shape peaks and time shift energy use. And it's a huge value add for sites, we think, which limited grid capacity or high tariffs during peak hours, which especially here in the Nordics we see very interesting. And
Absolutely, yeah, clear. So how do you see your role evolving as the EV charging infrastructure matures and move towards the software-defined energy services?
Listen, there was a guy called Mark Andresen, founder of Netscape, now is a venture capitalist in the United States.
Yes, famous.
Who said some years ago, I think it's all about software at the end of the day. And
the world for
software rules the world or something like this.
Yeah.
So we think, or I think as well, the shift towards software-defined infrastructure is accelerating as energy systems become more dynamic. And I told you before, I was working for a battery software company, a startup company from Munich some time ago. So as everything is going more and more into software direction, whether it's V2G, dynamic pricing, or virtual power plants, VPPs,
yes.
Hardware has to be smart, connected, and adaptable.
Yeah.
So we're not just supplying hardware anymore, we're building flexible platforms that can participate in energy markets and grid services. Again, very interesting here in the northern parts of Europe, becoming slowly interesting as well in Central Europe and Southern Europe. And that's where BESS, battery energy storage, which is becoming more and more widespread, yeah, thanks, is key, and where I see our future role expanding rapidly.
Yeah, makes absolute sense, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Good reference, Mark Andresen, couldn't agree more. That's one to pull out. So what are your key takeaways from EVS38 now that we're closing on the second days? Any trends, innovation, insight that stood out during the event that inspired you?
This is a very interesting show. I think there's a lot of happening here in the Nordics. I think EVS38 has really underscored that the industry is shifting from just charging to smart energy.
Yes.
Everyone is talking about grid resilience, energy optimization, and interoperability.
Yeah, it's a difficult world.
And we are seeing a greater emphasis on edge intelligence, co-located renewables, and so-called multi-stakeholder cooperation.
What do you mean by multi-stake?
That is very much about partnering as well and building ecosystems, and you're never alone in this world. So
Okay.
really, later on you asked me about what the biggest challenges are for an Asian player, and I would say it's about finding suitable, trustable partners where you cooperate and where you do your business together in the planet or in Europe. That's what I mean with that.
Yes.
And for us, basically, it validates the strategy we have taken, combining robust charging tech with flexible energy storage solutions to enable the next generation of EV infrastructure.
Absolutely. That's very nice closing, Andreas. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
And we're looking forward to keeping in touch, right?
Thanks a lot, yeah.
Have a great rest of trade show.
Thank you very much. You too.
right, moving on to the last conversation here on the ChargePoint podcast at EVS38 with Tommaso Di Fonzo from NG Lab. Thank you for taking the time, Tommaso.
Thank you for the chance. It's always nice to exchange among professionals.
Absolutely, and we met at the Oslo Nordic EV Summit, I remember, and we had some really interesting conversation. So I wanted to continue some of them, and I wanted to hear more about what you guys are doing and why you're here today. So let's jump right into it. So first, again, with all my guests, I'd like to know what's your background. Please tell us, our audience.
So I am Italian, first of all, and regarding my professional journey, I have starting this 14 years ago. So it's already a while that I work on electric vehicles. I've been moving among different utilities, and nowadays I work for NG Lab, which is one of the center of research and expertise of the NG group, and we do a lot of things on EV. We have a lab where we can test up to the megawatt scale, but we have also developed some interesting digital solution that scale EV flexibility. Our solution called Smatch is nowadays in the city of Rotterdam, where we manage 15,000 charging points.
I want to hear more about that. Then. Let's come back to it. So because you went really fast, so what did you study? What's your degree? What's your background?
I studied management engineering.
Yes.
And I studied first in the south of Italy, and then I made in Bari, and then I made my master's degree in Milan. And electric vehicles came out of a chance. There was a thesis on the EVs, and I said, okay, why not? It was, I told you, 14 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So why did you pick that? I was about to ask, right?
It was, I think I like new things. And so I saw this, and I was not expecting this to become my job.
No.
But then I made my master thesis. I had actually accepted another job doing something completely different. Mm-hmm. And then back then, my former employee, a utility that was starting to install charging station, really starting,
in Italy?
In Italy, called me because of my thesis and said, do you want to work with us? We're putting on a team. And so, it was a funny adventure.
And what was this first team supposed to do? What was the first mission project?
So back then I was, my former employees was Enel, and we were owner of the charging station and also of the backend. So I was giving the software requirements for both and making tests. So all the tests of interoperability we still talk so far, I was already doing back then. But funny enough, also as it was a small team, if there were problems on the chargers in Rome, sometimes it was me behind the phone saying, okay, what do we do? And literally there was somebody maybe going with a scooter to open the charger and unlock the cable. It was, we are growing in this industry, so it's been a long journey, and we'll continue. Yeah.
Exactly. This is definitely pioneering. Great. So let's come back a bit more in detail. So what are you doing at NG Lab, and why are you here at EVS38?
Yeah, so and at NG Lab we are, as I mentioned before, one of the research and expertise center of the NG group. We are in total around 400 people, mostly highly professional employees, and we are active on the whole electricity value chain. So we have more than 20 physical labs. Today I'm representing the e-mobility lab, but there is also one on solar, one on wind, one on nuclear even. So we are active on all of this. So there are similar activities to mine, but in other domains. And we do research, but we also complement this with service, because in our business model we believe that this is very complementary, right? Particularly in such innovative things, innovation and business mix together, and you actually grow if you do both. And so that's why in our lab we test up to the megawatt scale also for third parties, and we have now developed digital solutions like the smart charging Smatch that we have in the city of Rotterdam, but nowadays we want to scale also in the UK, so that's what we do.
Yeah, so what's the project in Rotterdam? I heard about it and read about it. Can you explain to the audience what it is about?
Yeah, for sure. So what we are doing that is that if you are basically going to the city of Rotterdam, to the public charging, there is behind our software that is optimizing the recharge based on the input coming from the energy market. So maybe said like that is too complicated, but what we do is that we aggregate all the charging points in the public. So we're talking about 15,000 charging points. Altogether, this becomes like a large battery, and then we can optimize the peak
to provide services and to go in a way to do the same things that gas power plants do. So I guess you're familiar with this concept. It's called virtual power plant. And so what we do with our solution is that as soon as the energy operator has some specific need, they send us one command, and we reduce, for instance, the power of recharge of the all public charging of
So
the
it's
city.
only up, right? So you reduce the consumption.
For the moment,
of course,
yeah, it's
there is no
monodirectional.
V2G, yes.
Yeah, indeed.
But is it a vision to then go V2G?
Of course, as long as this is going to be possible, I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I think the also new thing we do that is that, you know, as I told you before, I've been doing this for a while, and when we speak about smart charging, we have often spoken about residential use case because it's more controlled, etc. Whereas we do this in public, and doing this in public comes also with another level of complexity. You have to be sure that the EV driver gets the energy or she wants, but at the same time, with one unique concession like Rotterdam, we achieve a scale that will be much more complicated in the residential. And I think that's also, you know, there are many smart charging actors, and that's a little bit how we are also differentiating. So we are taking another segment.
Nice project, yeah. How long has it been running now?
Yeah, I mean, I will have to take it back, but it's been, I think, from 2016, if I remember well, because we are now at 15,000, but we started small, and then, you know, we made the first pilot, and then, you know, step by step, we grew up to the all concessions.
Yeah.
So it was...
Yeah, but you've been pioneer again here. So have you heard lately Luca Di Meo announcing the project with the R5 in free floating? Is it in a city in Holland, right?
Yes,
where the cars are coming back and they do V2G?
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
Do you believe, are we there? He says it's not a lab test. He says it's 5,000 cars. Any thoughts about this?
I mean, of course, I believe in this. The only point is that, once again, you need a Renault, you need the charging stations that works with Renault, and so, you know, when you want to scale, this doesn't make things easy.
It's a scale within a proprietary environment.
Yes, exactly. But it's not Renault's fault. On the contrary, they are pioneers as well. We just need the others to follow.
To also follow and also be V2G ready. Yeah.
And you do, I think, software as well. So you know that for us it's important to scale. And I think that, what is nice also of the city of Rotterdam, the message I say is let's do it. Because I think, I mean, please allow me to say enough pilot. I really want to do it. And to do it, you need standardization, basically.
Absolutely, yeah. So anything in particular you're highlighting at EVS38, or is it a bit the whole portfolio of, and who are you talking to? Who did you want to meet when you came here?
So, you know, for me, going to conference is a way also to get some energy, because our sector is not always easy. There is a lot of push and back, but most of the people working on this are passionate because we believe in what we are doing. We believe that is what we do is positive. And so that's good, and it's also good to speak among professionals, to exchange ideas. That's a nice way to grow. And then, of course, we are also trying to commercialize our services, both on the lab and on the smart charging, because we are open to work and to expand the experience we have in Rotterdam also to other cities. So if somebody is willing to, don't hesitate to reach out. And so that's a little bit why we are here. And the particularity of this conference is that it's a mix, I believe, among commercial and content, because there are a lot of parallel conferences. So in a way, for the work we do, that is, once again, research and service, it's a good fit, because we are also able to listen to a lot of scientific papers by universities and hopefully to find the next innovation, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And did you have time to walk around and get a bit inspired? Anything that stood out for you?
You know, what we have seen is that, there are a lot of trucks, maybe there are not a lot of cars, and at a certain moment you wonder why. I mean, it's true that maybe the car manufacturers don't sell car here, because here it's more a B2B environment, right? And maybe the truck operator on the contrary want to show that the electrification is
we
now...
are in Gothenburg, right? I mean, Volvo City.
There is Volvo, you're right, but other than Volvo, it's... so that was maybe a part that was...
and does that excite you, the e-trucks rollout? Do you see the potential? Imagine
of course.
Getting trucks on the road and at charging stations.
That's great.
And sleeping overnight, and imagine, right?
There is, for sure, that's amazing. And also there a lot has to be done, because if you see the figures, it's 1.5% of the market share. And so, going back to the way forward and the pushback of our work, you see the potential is exciting. At the same time, sometimes you say, okay, but let's make it happen. Why are we waiting? Why is still 1.5%? And so for sure, I believe that, in a way, the best is yet to come, because 20% market share, more or less, on EV, 1.5 on track. Imagine how many things we still have to see. So that's the nice part.
Yeah, a lifelong in energy and e-mobility, I think, for both of us, hopefully, and not a dull moment. It's going to be exciting.
We have to meet
right?
each other more often, so we give each other energy.
Take a status on where we are and give each other energy. All right, Tommaso, pleasure to see you, and have a great end of the trade show, right?
Thank you, you too.
Thank you. Ciao. And that's a wrap on this special EVS38 episode of the ChargePoint podcast. I hope you found this conversation as insightful and energizing as I did. Huge thanks to our guests for joining us. Barry from Cinexcel for showing how scale, speed, and a focus on user experience are driving Chinese hardware innovation into Europe. Thank you to Martin from Omexom, who gave us a grounded look at the unique realities of Norway's electrification, from megawatt chargers to grid upgrades and maritime fast charging. Tommaso from ENGIE Laborelec for breaking down how public smart charging is already playing in the big leagues and why flexibility and standardization are the real accelerator of scale. And thanks to Andreas from EFI Power, who reminded us that reliable hardware is just the beginning. It's all about how we integrate energy, storage, solar, and load management into one adaptable, efficient system. Across all 4 interviews, one thing stood out. The future of charging infrastructure isn't just about power plugs. It's about partnership, interoperability, and making smart, scalable choices at every level of the stack. Whether you're building a depot, planning a city rollout, or investing in the next charging platform, there's real value in learning from each other and acting fast without compromising quality. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow the ChargePoint podcast for more industry insight, interviews, and real-world lessons from the people moving e-mobility forward. You'll find us again on all major podcast platforms, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or reach out via Flexecharge if you'd like to continue the conversation. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay charged, stay smart, and let's keep driving the transition forward.